When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by Beneful. Dogs of the world, lend me your ears, snoots, and little toe beans. We've been sitting and staying for boring food for too long. It's time to demand high-quality ingredients, fresh from the pantry. Together with Beneful freshly prepared meals, we can start a mealtime revolution. Can I get a woof woof? Kick boring in the bowl with Beneful freshly prepared meals. Visit Purina.com/Beneful to shop now.
Welcome to Diz and Hers, the show about what's happening in the Disney community from his, hers, and your perspective. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Eric. And on today's show, we talk about guests jumping off Disney attraction and why that's not such a great idea. We also discuss our Mount Rushmores of attractions and resorts.
All right, but before we get started, we want to remind you that Diz and Hers can be found on all your favorite podcast platforms and in video format on Spotify and YouTube. We'd love it if you could head over to Apple and leave us a quick rating or review and let us know what you want to hear us talk about on future episodes.
All right, Lauren. So this is a couple weeks old, but something that we need to talk about. Did you see the TikTok video that was going around where the guest jumped out of Kilimanjaro Safari truck to relieve himself? I think it was around maybe I looked at the pictures and the videos, and it seemed maybe it was around the rhinos area. Luckily, it wasn't near the alligators or the crocodiles. Lauren, are you familiar with this what happened here?
Yes, and we have on social media, there's a lot of cast members that follow us and they interact, and we have a very we're part of a very vibrant community here, and I cannot tell you how many people were saying we keep telling you, please stop jumping off the rides and peeing. What world are we living in? But anyways, so if you're not familiar, somebody did get off of Kilimanjaro Safari and went to the bathroom, and it shows the guest running several yards away from the vehicle, thank goodness, before relieving himself in the bushes. And a child believed to be accompanying the guests could be heard saying that, "Daddy, hurry up, they're going to be waiting for you." It's unbelievable to me, but I'm sure cast members have seen it all.
Well, I remember we were doing an episode on the worst behaviors, and it was every other post was somebody urinating somewhere. But this one seems like this guy just could not hold it. He said he had to go, and he had no other choice. And ultimately, we don't really know what happened.
Ride for 45 minutes.
We don't know, though. He might have been. We've got stuck there before. If there's animals in the road, and his family might have hurried him along. He might have had a lightning lane. You never know. I don't know this guy's story. I want to know if anybody's talked to this gentleman yet. And find out if he was actually banned from the park, because I imagine this is cause to get kicked out of the park for permanently, right?
This is lifetime ban stuff, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's
there are little kids on that safari truck.
I mean, he was caught. He went far away. He was just peeing in the bush. It's like somebody peeing in the woods.
There are photos,
yeah.
Eric.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Not far enough.
Well, listen. So either way, this was interesting enough that I thought we should talk about it, and then the community was talking about it. So I was on Twitter. Diservation says, "A bathroom emergency hits Kilimanjaro Safaris. What do you do?" And it was a poll. 47%. Now, granted, at this time it was only a couple hours old, but 47% said they're holding. 25 says I'm panicking quietly. 14% I'm asking for help, and then 14% mentally leaving my body, which is what I think I voted for, because there's nothing worse than being in a situation where you have to go to the restroom and you can't. And if you've been on Kilimanjaro, that's a longer ride, right? What is that? What do you think? 30, 40 minutes total?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's a longer Right. I understand. I mean, I would be like quietly panicking.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
thinking about like every possible scenario and then the scenarios for my scenario.
But just imagine you're on that bumpy road. You're like it's problematic. So I feel for this guy. I just want to know if he got kicked out. So I did go to Walt Disney World's rules, and it is public urination is strictly prohibited at Walt Disney World. It's categorized under the unsafe, illegal, disruptive, or offensive behavior officially. It would usually typically result in an immediate lifetime ban, says the internet, especially from like an indecent exposure or public urination standpoint. But I was thinking to myself, what's the worst attraction to kind of have this happen to you on? In this case, he was able to get out and like, he was able to get out and relieve himself. So he might get banned for life, but there's probably worse attractions to get stuck in. Like imagine like the submarine voyage. And
that would be terrible, and you can't even move.
Yeah. So I mean, just this is a public service announcement. Just go to the bathroom before you got any attractions. That goes for the young and the old. But this kind of got me in a rabbit hole of seeing who else is like, how often do people jump off attractions? Because my thought comes down to this. I think Kilimanjaro now is going to end up having more safety restrictions. Before it's just like you easily get on, get out. Like, do you think they'll put the plexiglass back up to stop people from doing this? Or do you think like, one off, we're okay?
No, I think that there's these one-off exceptions. It's just who is able to get it on camera. Because think about how many things that happen that we don't know about or that we don't see. So do I think that they're going to do that? Probably not. But I'm looking at this one of the people mover in the unauthorized exit at Magic Kingdom. Like,
yeah, this has happened a couple weeks.
Did they get lost in there? Like, say
No.
they're in the dark.
Oh, yeah. I think it's dangerous. So what happened was it was in March. This was reported. So I was kind of pulling up all types of stories of people unauthorized exits and just see what the ones. And I imagine it's happened for years. But on the internet, the most recent one was 2 guests climb out of the stop people mover. And of course, I went to the comments directly just to see what people were saying. So gentleman Jacob says, what part of remain seated do you not understand? The other one was, did I miss the memo that said if the ride stops, feel free to get out? And this Cameron says, and I'm here hoping it stops inside Space Mountain so I can get a couple-minute nap.
Right.
So I guess,
air conditioning.
Yeah. Listen, on the people mover, if it stopped for a long period of time, which is kind of ironic in its own right because it's not supposed to stop, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd jump out. I don't know necessarily where they at. Maybe they were on the loading dock, like they were where it normally was, because it looks like they exit. But do you think that's a lifetime ban doing something like that? Or is that like a get out of the park for the day?
Well, it depends where it was. Like, I always go back to, I don't know if we've ever talked about the story of the woman getting out on the, living with the land and just walking through the gardens, like trying to find a bathroom, like literally got out of the boat and was just wandering around and they're watching her on the cameras.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and hearing you. That's your favorite. Did you know that that's not the most popular getting out of living with the land like ejection story? Have you heard of the lady that grabbed the cucumber?
No.
Yeah, so this was a couple years ago, but it is somewhat went viral in this nature that, and I found a couple videos of it, but there was a lady in 2001, I think in June, and she hopped off the boat and snagged a cucumber off of the tree, and she was having trouble getting back in, basically, and that caused all the attention. But yeah, every time you go through that, you think of these people that go through. I mean, I think I
wondered if those veggies were real.
Oh, yes, absolutely real. But so I think we want to know. I want to know personally, what's the most ridiculous story you've seen somebody leave? I know there were stories of people jumping out or at least falling out of the Skyway. Jim Hill told a couple of those stories before. Yeah, where somebody jumped in a tree and stuff like that. There was a couple. What was it? Disneyland. There was the guy sitting on the People Mover track a couple months ago. People I don't know what causes this. But
yeah, I definitely did see that. Like, what is going on in your head, friends?
I don't know. There was the guy that was tripping out on mushrooms that was in It's a Small World and hanging out in
Oh, the
the
naked
pool.
guy. Yeah, and
Yeah,
we've definitely seen people getting out of the boats on
yeah,
Small World and
pirates.
Pirates and
But
yeah, like
I
that's
think my favorite, and I don't know if you know about this, Lauren, but have you ever heard of like the tales of Hoot and Chief, Hoot Gibson and Chief? All right, so this is pretty iconic in the internet sphere. We are not saying to do this on any attraction, but this was done back in the day. So there were two guys. His name was Dave, or we'll just call him Hoot, and then Chief were the two individuals, and they're basically big time Disney fans, and they were big fans of Horizons. So we all know Horizon is no longer there. It's where Mission Space is. But for the longest time, they basically were jumping out of the attraction and navigating around the different show scenes and documenting by taking pictures and video of the entire attraction. And they did this, boy, for a very long time. I don't know if it was a total of years, but they almost collected dozens, umpteen pictures up close, almost to the point where like they kind of documented the entire ride vehicle. And over time, they kind of counted out exactly how long it would take before you could jump back into back into the attraction where the camera wasn't able to see you. And they figured it out to the point where they kept doing it. And there were moments and times where they like were in the attraction for hours and not being seen. And you can actually find a lot of this footage and a lot of their videos and stuff online. They kind of documented it after the attraction was shut down. So Horizons went down, in 1999. But they put it out on their blog. I think in 2009, it was like the Mesta Verde Times. I think there was a blog out there that they documented all of it, and it's become legend, especially to like urban explorers and individuals. And it wasn't a matter, they didn't get out of the ride to go to the restroom. They were literally doing it illegally, mind you. So I'm not going to glorify them, but for us Horizon fans, it was kind of nice that we got all this stuff documented. But I think that's the most famous getting out of the attraction story of Hoot and Chief. So if you're interested in that stuff, look them up. It was interesting enough, but I don't know if that could be done in this day and age with the amount of cameras and security. Certainly not condoning any of it, even if you're trying to get a cucumber or a banana from Living with the Land.
I mean, but if I was going to put those guys on a Mount Rushmore with urban explorers, like it would be Adam the Woo's face next to them.
Right.
Didn't he get a lifetime ban? And then what about the kid? Who is the kid that we were all like watching that?
Yeah. Matt Sonswa.
Well,
Yeah. He's one of them that was over at Discovery Island.
yeah,
Swam over
yes,
the, yeah, yes.
We've seen a lot of Discovery Island, and don't do that, friends. That's the disclaimer we're gonna say here. But speaking of Mount Rushmore, when we get back, that's what we're gonna do. Eric wants us to give you the Mount Rushmore of attractions and resorts, and we can't wait to hear what you guys think. But before that, there's this. All right, and we're back.
All right, Lauren. So we talked about this briefly, but I had a feeling you weren't quite familiar with what the Mount Rushmore trend is. So we talked the other day because I'm like, all right, prepping you. Hey, I'm writing this show for this week. And I said, do you know what the Mount Rushmore deal is? And I primarily know it from, I think, pro wrestling. There's a lot of talk of like, pick your Mount Rushmore, which is ultimately picking like your top four, right? It's kind of saying, hey, if you're going to get a landmark and carve someone's face in stone, who would your top four be? So it's always done in the wrestling world, but I imagine it's done everywhere. And I was scrolling through Twitter and actually saw somebody say, oh, the Mount Rushmore, and it was Disney related. So I've thought it would be fun for us to do our Mount Rushmore, and I more importantly wanted to see if it's already been done. And yes, there's obviously people that's done the Mount Rushmore of Disney attractions, but today we're going to do Disney attractions. We'll also do Disney resorts, and we don't necessarily have a ton of rules. You can pick what you want in this case, but let's just start off with a little example here. If you go onto Reddit, there was somebody says, what is the Mount Rushmore for Disney park attractions? And this person has Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain, and it looks to be, what the heck is that one? Do you even know what that logo is?
No, I have no idea what that is.
I don't know. It's TBM. We're going to get yelled at for that one. Let us know. But then we kind of have other people going down the list.
I was a Big Thunder Mountain.
Oh, there we go. I've never seen that as a logo.
No, it's a
Good
very
job.
odd looking logo.
This person's a traditionalist. It looks like they like the classics. I like that. That's a pretty solid Mount Rushmore. What do you think about this next one? I think this one's up your alley.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Mavic Mini, do you want to be my bestie? But it says, come at me all the time you want. But in my heart, I know I'm right. Living with the land, people mover, phantasmic, flight of passage, blurry screen.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
then
gosh.
yeah, I don't think you wouldn't put flight on yours, but we'll find
No,
out soon.
I would not put flight of passage. I'm like, who is putting living with the land number 1 and then flight of passage 4? Like, I'm with you. We're not together anymore.
Yeah. Well, Celtic DK says not if you're going to pick non-Magic Kingdoms, they're going with Guardians, Safari, Flight of Passage, and Toy Story Mania. So it's a solid list, so to speak. It seems like they're picking one almost from each park, right? No, Guardians, Flight of Passage, 2 from Animal Kingdom, and then we also have before we get to ours, I thought this was a funny one from JWing01. It's basically, here's the 4 parks. It's getting hit with the ankles by large plastic strollers, being behind people who stop at the ride exit doors, seeing Rapunzel and Ariel get into the elevator during the Keys to the Kingdom, and por favor, Lauren, can you speak Spanish?
No.
Yeah, por favor,
Mantengas aliado de la porles.
Yeah, I know where it's coming from.
Portas.
I know where it's coming from, but obviously I have not recited
I do
it.
love that.
Okay, so that is so let's go at it, Lauren. Let's hear, what is your Mount Rushmore for Disney attractions?
Okay, so I really had to give this some thought. Because like to me Disney is a vibe, like it's not defined by just the attractions. Okay. But talked about it before. I do love some Guardians. I think Guardians is the best ride in any of the theme parks. So that would be the number 1 face. But you just said Toy Story Mania, and that is such a, like, I love that ride so much. Like, it makes my heart happy. And it wasn't even on my initial list. I love the People Mover. I'd ride it over and over and over and over again. And then I probably have to say Frozen.
Okay, so the People
So are
Mover
you
I knew was
disgusted of my Mount Rushmore? I think she's pretty.
No, I think you had Mine Train on there originally, right? You took it off for
I
Toy
did,
Story.
but then you said Toy Story Mania, and I love that so much.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know what yours is. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to condone Frozen at all. Like, that's not my vibe, not my ride. It's fine enough, but it's not. But I mean, Guardians is on my list as well. It turned from a pure coaster perspective. I think Guardians is probably the most fun attraction out there. If you like coasters, of course, I don't think there's much better than that. And yours is respectable, but I also think you're taking.
Thank you. I did not think you would call mine respectable. I feel like people are going to be at me for the People Mover, but no. I could ride it 1,000 times and never get sick of it.
Yeah. See, I would put the People Mover on mine. I really do like the People Mover, but I don't. It's one of those where I could just keep doing it. Right. And I think it's so underrated, and I don't think people realize that how amazing that is on so many levels.
It's different.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, Guardians is on mine. I would put Guardians. I think that is the best single coaster. It's the most fun. And it's no surprise that I am a Haunted Mansion guy. There's obviously this is, I mean, that is the attraction. I think that's the attraction that I look forward to the most. I try never to miss it whatsoever. And literally that, I think if I was going to show somebody Disney and said, we're allowed to go on one attraction, that would be the one that I could feel like you get the vibe. Yeah. I think you get the vibe. It's a little bit of everything. It's animatronics. It's like, I think it's like classic Disney, but yet it still kind of transcends and works for the future. You know, like I just think a Haunted Mansion perfectly sums up what I envision as a Disney theme park. It's so the other one that comes down to mind would be Space Mountain. I think, and this is Walt Disney World Space Mountain. There is something about that attraction that I absolutely love. And I giggle all the time. Like, it's not even the fastest. It's nothing special by any means, but I find it just to be like the wonderful roller coaster that it's not, I don't get anxiety when I get on it, where like there are coasters that give me anxiety. Like Rock and Roller Coaster.
I think that it warrants a trip to the chiropractor.
No, I don't think space is that bad.
It's not even going that fast, but for some reason, it's just like I always
you can't
feel
brace
like
yourself on the turns.
Around.
Yeah. And then I think the fourth is really where it gets really tricky for me, because there are elements of like absolutely pick something like Living with the Land or the People Mover. Like, these are classic attractions. And then there's elements of like, well, what about things like Rise of the Resistance? Or I do love an Expedition Everest. Like, I think that attraction is great. I think it's a wonderful thrill coaster. And then you have things like Kilimanjaro that you certainly could throw in there. And then I almost was like, all right, this is current attractions and not past attractions. But like, if you could do past attractions, like I love the Great Movie Ride in a sense, right? So this is just the hardest one. I cannot really necessarily get that last piece on there. Lauren, you know me pretty well. What do you think I should put as like the last face that I'm going to carve in there?
Oh, I mean, Space, Haunted Mansion, Guardians, Living with the Land.
You think Living with the Land goes on there? I mean, it is.
I
truly...
mean, you're always talking about the fish farm.
Yeah, I do take a lot of pictures of fish farms and troll my friends by sending it to them and telling them it's mine. Yeah, let's put Living with the Land on there. I think that gives you a little classic Epcot, which I really love. You know what?
He's a purist. He likes the things that feel old and have.
But what about Spaceship
history.
Earth, man? Spaceship Earth is quite amazing as well. Like that is my vibe.
I don't know. I would say if you were gonna pick one though, I feel like you're always living with the land.
I do love. I don't know. Well, listen, it's gonna be a gut call. Obviously, I got 3, and then I'll have a temporary one at some point in time. We'll leave.
Pick like a Slinky Dog or
no
rock and roll, like nothing.
No. I listen. I think it's, if it was up to me, I'd probably pick like the original Journey into the Imagination or something like Horizons. But I mean, Guardians does its job and picks all that, and then everything else. Part of me wanted to pick Tiki Room because I freaking love like the old Country Bears, and the old Tiki Room, that kind of stuff. And I feel like Pirates is great, but Haunted Mansion kind of represents that era. So yeah, I'm going to go Spaceship Earth for now. That's old Epcot. I still love a lot of the aspects of it. I can go with Living with the Land. I can see the vibe there, but Spaceship Earth is iconic in its own right. And that is going to be my last. So I'm going to go Guardians, Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, Spaceship Earth. That is current 2026 Mount Rushmore. But we do want to hear everybody else's Mount Rushmore just on attractions. We stick with Walt Disney World for now. We'll go to Disneyland another time. But before you let us know in the comments what yours is, but we also want to know this next thing, which is the Mount Rushmore. And I saw this, from a gentleman named Nick on Twitter or X. It's what 4 Walt Disney World resorts would be your Mount Rushmore. And the top 4 was Poly, Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge, and the Beach Club. That was Nick's.
I feel like looking at this, I feel like this is the same. It must be a relative of the person that was Living with the Land and then Flight of Passage. Like, I'm with you. Like, for Poly, Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge, I feel like that says a lot about the person. And then it's like, boom, Beach Club.
Well, yeah. I mean, because they're all kind of like outdoorsy, kind of adventurous, and then Beach Club. I mean, that's like a beach adventure, right? It'd be different if it was like Yacht Club.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Poly would be tropical, and then the Beach Club would be tropical. But like,
it's a different tropical, Pacific Islander kind of. It's a different tree, maybe.
And what we're looking at is literally the logos of the resorts on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
So Beach Club stands out like a sore thumb. But all right, Eric, do you have 4 resorts? I mean, since you couldn't really nail down 4 attractions.
Yeah, I do. I do. I think it's fairly easy, and I'm just wondering how it will compare with yours. So right off the get-go, Polynesian is my favorite. 1971 Disney is my favorite time frame, and the Polynesian is about as original. It's the original that you have, and I always kind of like the Polynesian culture in many aspects. I like the wonderful theming there and the history. So Polynesian's number one. It is our DVC resort as well, so we've got to stay there on more than several occasions. Polynesian's number one. The number two would be the boardwalk. If I had to choose, it'd be boardwalk with the clown slide. Unfortunately, it took that away from us. The boardwalk from a convenience level is super great because you can walk directly to two parks, and I personally dislike transportation. I just would prefer to use my feet to walk anywhere. But I also found it to be a nice little charming hotel, and I enjoy the lobby aspect of it. So we've got to stay at the boardwalk on a occasion or two, and I've really, really enjoyed that. The third is semi-controversial, but not, and that is the Contemporary. And the reason it's controversial is because we have yet to stay officially in the Contemporary.
It's
but
like the only resort we've not stayed in, but we'll be there in July.
Yeah. Well, it's because it has tinier rooms, but I can pretend that I've stayed there because our friend once stayed there and showed us rooms and so forth. And we're always there, and I know I would like it. And that's, once again, it goes down to the 1971 Disney. It goes down to walking places. I always said to myself, I'm like a concrete kind of guy. I don't necessarily like the outdoors that much. So this is about as urban vibe as you can get, and lots of concrete everywhere, and I'm all for it. And it has the monorail, so it's just great in general. And the last one will get me canceled, but I think it is the epitome of like what I picture Disney, and that is Pop Century.
Oh my
Because-
gosh, Eric.
Listen, I would take any of the All-Stars because I think the giant figures, right? The giant statues everywhere, and the food courts and the lobbies and the crazy looking carpet and all that just screams to me Walt Disney World Resort vacation, family vacation, especially for a lot of those people that I talk to are going on like their first vacation. It's like a budget friendly version. It is like you get your cup and you have your giant, you walk by all the giant statues. And
I do love a food court. Like, I love an all-star food court.
Yeah,
And
so I
don't know if it's still the case, but like before you would get one bus to all the all-stars, and if you stayed at Pop, you got your own bus.
That
Like,
was
you
it.
felt
Well,
like you were bougie.
right. So the argument would have been like, well, why wouldn't you just pick art animation? And I'm like, that's too new to me. Like, I like a Michael Eisner 90s kind of Disney, and seeing a giant Mighty Ducks helmet or like a giant Dalmatian is like, that's the vibe. That is my Disney that I remember and like. So that is why I'm like Pop Century. And I'm an affordable guy, and it has the Skyway now. So like I think it's all, and there's history there of like I don't know. So Pop would be mine for now. Granted, I'm not saying that if you gave me unlimited money that I'm going to stay at Pop all the time, but
I hope not.
but like, if you're going to ask me what my vibe is and
You're
what I
gonna be
really think
traveling by
represents,
yourself.
right. So that is where I'm going. So Lauren, let's hear yours.
Okay, but I also think that like, this is like a reflection of who you are and like who your friends are, who you're going to be hanging out with. That's why I was, making the comments about the one with the, Polly and then the, beach club. But I think I'm going to have to say number one, boardwalk. Like, if we're talking aesthetics, like I liked boardwalk, beach club, Polly. And then I was also struggling with my fourth. I would probably, like, I don't know if I had unlimited money, I'd be Grand Floridian, but I really love art of animation. I don't feel like it's too new. I mean, you got the Nemo pool, there's music playing underground, got all the cars, I feel like if you are going on a Disney vacation and you want to feel like Disney, like, that is your spot. Now, where we normally stay is Saratoga Springs or Old Key West, but normally that's because that's where we can use our points, and they're lovely. I mean, and they're themed, but like, do you feel like that is truly like what you think of when you think of Disney?
No, like that's the thing is I just think of the All-Stars. So I mean, your art
That's where we
animation.
stayed at first, probably.
It was, I'm sure it was, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody goes to Disney differently, and obviously people are in different budgets and different time frames and different eras of their life. And yeah, I think I imagine if my first trip was the Grand Floridian, I would connect to it more than I do now. But what do you like the beach club so much?
The pool. I mean, I like the beach. You peoples do not in our family. But they have the sand bottom pool, and I just remember it being very like exclusive to get into. Honestly, I think I just like that aesthetic.
Hmm.
Obviously convenience walking to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. I am also of the boardwalk era with the clown slide. I do like some of that history too. But I think I have different grade of like what's important to me. I'm more about the space. I want like functional space. I don't like things being everywhere. And so that is more important than the name on the building. But I don't know if it was you and I talking about it, but did you see where it was asking like what resorts like punch above their weight? Like people think that Coronado Springs should be a deluxe versus being a moderate. Are there any resorts that you think like punch above their
Ah,
weight
listen,
or
I do.
below actually?
Well, I don't know this one, but I know a lot of people talk about the Riviera like crazy, and I just was in the we didn't stay there, so I can't really comment too much. But I'm like, I don't know what the vibe is there. Like, I just didn't feel it. So I would almost be like, everybody's talking about this Riviera, and I'm like, nah, I would rather stay somewhere else. But I don't know. I would be interested to hear what everybody else says. Obviously, I think my pop sometimes is the way to go. But we haven't stayed there for a while, so
I
maybe we
mean,
need
but
to
it's
make
a
a trip to the
value.
pop.
Like, I think that art of animation being labeled a value is, I think at least it should be a moderate.
I don't know. I think it all comes down to like eating, like having restaurants on place, how many pools, stuff like that all comes into play.
But
But
I'd pick a food court over a sit down
you love well, listen, the food courts,
every
we're an
day.
odd breed, so but that's what we are. We're just tourists at the end of the day. So, but we want to hear from
Yes.
you guys. We gave some Mount Rushmores on our perspective. Where are we wrong? Please yell at us so we can yell back. It's always good fun games. But no, let us
It's
know
always good
what's your Mount
fun.
Rushmore. Let's see, how does that tell your personality? We want to hear from you, and let us know in the comments or reach out directly.
Yes, and that does it for this week's episode of Diz and Hers. For more, make sure you're hitting up DizandHers.com. There you'll find episodes, updates, articles, and if Disney's your vibe, make sure you subscribe.
All right. And remember, watch what you post. You might end up in next week's episode. Thanks for listening.